Well. Welcome, motherfuckers. Week 5. Logan Brown doing the projections. Jamie had to go to the fucking bullpen, so here I am. Gonna bring it to you live. Week 5. Gonna be interesting. It's been an interesting year already, right? We're 4 weeks in, obviously. Had some interesting stuff happen. Ryan Brown moving up in the ranks. Some people falling that didn't want to fall. And then you got some guys just in the fucking middle. That'll happen after 4 weeks. But I'm going to do another segment later, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Who the fuck knows? But it's going to be contenders versus pretenders. But for right now, I'm going to do the fucking projections for week 5. All the shit that you guys look forward to. Hopefully I don't disappoint. I've got the W flag up in the back, which is actually Adam Brown's Christmas present from last year. So, going to be referring that for winners and fucking losers. So going to be an interesting one. Let's just get kind of started with kind of what happened last week, just to kind of recap. Obviously snuck out a win on Sean, which I know hurt his heart because it would have hurt mine if I lost 2 by 0.4 points. So that moves me to 2-2. Sean 2-1. Eli moving to 3-1 over Jamie. Jamie always talks about the fucking panic button for me, but never talks about it for himself. Anyway. Mike talking about, Chris talking about fucking panic buttons. That's a big panic button. The guy's freaking out. And then you got Mike obviously pulling the win over him by 3 points. Uncle Ty just getting his ass waxed against CJ. But that's what happens when you can't play fucking defense in fantasy football. Shit like that happens. Tyler, you'll probably bounce back, but I gotta give you shit. So Medley continuing the string. Gosh, his team just looks so bad. But he's got Tommy B and Gronk coming back. Hopefully that helps him. We got Steven kind of middle of the pack, 2-2 right now. Ryan Brown putting up good points again. You guys gave him shit for not even having a fucking first round pick, but put up 128 last week over Peter, who had a sad 56 points. And then, of course, you got Adam Brown. He did well on a bye week, but, oh well, it happens, right? It's fucking fantasy football. He didn't even play 2 of his fucking players and scored like 94 points. Anyway, that's the recap of week 4. Here's coming week 5. Got some interesting shit for you guys. I'm gonna do stuff a little bit different. Jamie always fucking pusses out with fucking pushes and all this bullshit. No pushes. Pushes are for pussies. So I'm going to come up with a decision, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to go with it that way, and then we'll go about it. So, let's get shit started. We're going to compare players or teams to college football programs. So let's get started off with matchup number 1. It's going to be Houston versus Oklahoma. Houston, the shiny new toy. Where they've been for the last 15 years, 20 years, who the fuck knows? But they're relevant this year, right? And then we got Oklahoma. Reliable, but just can't win the fucking big one. So, CJ versus myself. Obviously, CJ's Houston. I'm Oklahoma. The fruit puncher versus the circumcision specialist. So, quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill at Tennessee, Matty Ice at Denver. I'm going to give myself the advantage on this one simply because I'm going to cover up any big opportunities that Julio has, who CJ has. And then you got Tannehill. Who the hell knows with him, right? That offense, he pop over a 74-yard touchdown to fucking Kenny Stills, or he can just suck dick. So who knows on that one? I'm going to go ahead and give myself the advantage just for the fact that I'm covering up anything Julio does. So moving on to running backs, Devontae Freeman for CJ, Blunt, and Sproles. And then I've got Zeke and Jay Ajayi going if Arian Foster doesn't go. For that one, I'm going to go ahead and give CJ the advantage to this one. Why? Because the fucking sickle cell shit. Tevin Coleman may not play, meaning Devontae Freeman gets more touches. Then you got Blunt at Cleveland. Horrible fucking defense. Tom Brady's coming back, which means everybody's going to be spreading out to the fucking secondary and outside the box, meaning Blunt's going to be running wild probably. And then Sproles, he could be 0 or he could be 20. Who the fuck knows? That screen machine. CJ gets the advantage here. We're going to go to wide receivers. Julio at Denver, Will Fuller at Minnesota. Two very tough matchups for CJ. And then I've got myself rolling Jordy and Larry Fitz. Nice hands, Larry. At San Francisco tonight. And then Cole Beasley. I'm going to go with myself on this one. I said no pushes. Why? Simply due to matchups. You got Julio at Denver. Obviously a tough matchup. They're not going to let him get over the top of the safeties. And then Will Fuller, obviously at Minnesota. Very tough defense. Probably the two toughest defenses in the league. So, going myself on that one. Jordy, Fitz, Beasley. Let's see what happens there. Tight ends, Marty B versus Jacob Tamme. Marty B is going against Cleveland. Tamme is obviously going against Denver. I said, again, no pushes. So I'm going to go with Tamme simply because the safety is going to be playing 30, 40 yards back on Julio. Kind of open up the middle of the fucking field. That way he can go, boo, 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 Jacob Tamme, boo, boo. Marty B, and he's got Gronk coming back, so who knows there. But without sounding biased for the projection, the winner, I'm going to say myself. CJ got some tough matchups. And with the fact that me covering up Julio, that's going to be interesting because if Matty Ice goes off, great. Hopefully it's not to Julio. So I'm going to go with myself. The projected score on that is 113-92. If CJ does want the win, it's going to be all up to Devontae Freeman, I feel like, which is possible. Next matchup, we got Baylor versus LSU. Great offense for Baylor. Lost some players and did some raping last year. And then you got LSU, kind of historical success, and currently confused. So the raping last year was with Baylor. That's Eli versus Peter. Kind of confused right now for Peter. I call this the Tan Man Challenge. 3-1 versus 2-2. Let's get started with some quarterbacks. Rivers at Oakland versus Eli Manning at Green Bay. I'm going to go, and it hurts me to say this, fucking Phillip Rivers. I hate that son of a bitch. Oakland just can't prove to stop the pass. It's like, oh, I throw the ball. Oh, I catch the ball. Oh, I scored a touchdown. It's ridiculous. The defense was supposed to be good. Their pass rush was supposed to be good. Adams kicking himself in the nuts for even drafting him. But if he didn't, then I would have. So, advantage is going to go to Rivers. So, that's Eli. So, running backs, we got Miller time at Minnesota, Rashad Jennings at Green Bay, and then Peter's got Melvin Gordon at Oakland, and then Cameron Artis-Payne for Tampa Bay. You're going to call me crazy on this one, but I think I'm going to go with Peter. I'm just not bought in on Lamar Miller. And I don't think it's necessarily him. I think it's fucking Brock. Brock sucks some cock. Brock cock. So, I'm going to go with Peter on this one. Lamar Miller, lingering injury, can't get to the red zone against a salty fucking Minnesota defense. Melvin Gordon for Peter's getting a lot of good action. So, advantage Peter on that one. Wide receivers, Marvin Jones at Philly, T.Y. Hilton at Chicago, Alshon Jeffrey at Indy. And then for Peter, you got Odell. I sound like fucking Jamie now. Robert Woods at L.A. and then Chris Hogan versus Cleveland. Advantage Eli here, Alshon and Marvin. They're just going to continue to keep on kind of doing their thing. Even though for Peter, I think that Odell is going to kind of come out of his shell and Eli Manning's probably going to throw it to him 45 times just to shut this fucking ass up. But I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with Eli for wide receivers. Tight ends, Jordan Reed at Baltimore, and then we got Delaney at Miami. Advantage, Eli. Kirk's kind of finding his groove, had a good week last week. Jordan Reed possesses a pretty good red zone target. I do like Delaney, but just kind of going with my gut on this one. Jordan Reed. Projected winner. Eli. Continue to dominate offensively because there's no defense in fantasy football. Projected score 89-69. Eli gets the win. Moving on. So, next one we got Appalachian State versus Washington. Appalachian State, just like the longest yard, fucking tune-up game. And then Washington kind of making a comeback case. Taking off last year, came out of nowhere, having a good year. So Matt versus Mike. Matt is obviously Appalachian State, and Mike is Washington coming out of nowhere, took last year off. This matchup is the Basement Dwellers versus the Ballers, 3-1 versus 0-3. Quarterbacks, you got Tom Brady making a comeback against Cleveland, and then you got Andrew Luck. Advantage, I'm going to go with Matt on this one. Brady's back and going to do some hate fucking. Just hate fucking. He got to blow his load for 4 weeks all over Giselle. So he's going to be prepped and ready to go. And then poor fucking Andrew Luck. I think he may be gay now because he's watched his offensive line suck so much cock. So bad. So bad. It's not necessarily him, but it's fucking offense. Sucks. So advantage Matt on that one. Running backs, Eddie Lacy at New York, Hyde at Arizona. And then for Mike, you got David Johnson at San Francisco, which is tonight. And then Sims at Carolina. Advantage for Mike here. David Johnson's kind of key in this. Lots of attention with Palmer out. Drew Stanton's just going to go, here's the ball. Here's the ball. Here's a dump pass. So I think David Johnson's going to get more involved there. And then that's going to kind of give him the key there. Eddie Lacy, just who knows. Carlos Hyde running well, but Arizona, I think they're have to prove something after going 1-3. So that is what it is. Wide receivers, Benjamin San Diego, Coates versus the Jets, and then Royal against Indianapolis. That's for Matt. And then for Mike, we got Randall Cobb against the Giants, Landry versus Tennessee, Dorsett versus Chicago. I'm going to give the advantage to Matt here. Sammy Coates is getting a lot of action with the double team of Antonio, and Royal had a big week last week, I think like 112 yards or something like that, but a lot of targets. So that's good shit. So I'm going with Matt on that one. Randall Cobb for Mike. Just, I don't know, man. Landry, their offense just kind of fucking blows, which I've got guys on that offense, which sucks. And Dorsett popped off an easy one last week on a fucking broken coverage. That's why he had a good week. So, advantage, Matt. Tight ends. Gronk at Cleveland versus Witten versus Cincinnati. I'm going to give this one to Matt. So, Gronk, I think this is the fucking week. Training wheels are coming off, and Gronk and Brady are back if his hammy holds up. Who knows if his fucking hammy holds up. But I think it's Belichick just being Belichick. Fucking, I don't care about your fantasy team, baby, says Gronk. So, projected winner. Upset alert! You can put him on the board. Yes! Matt squeezes out his first win, and he's going to get a big old fucking raging boner for having Brady and Gronk back. Matt wins in a low-scoring affair, 77-71. That's what it's going to be. That's not even a question. So, interesting one there. Next one, we got Michigan versus Texas A&M. Michigan, well-balanced, kind of under the radar still, very high-ranked. Then you got Texas A&M. Don't get me started on them. They're going to be the first ones to fucking tell you how good they are, and they rarely see fucking reality, right? So, but loyal as fuck. So, Michigan is Steven. Texas A&M is Jamie. The 2-2 zone busters battle. Quarterbacks. Andy Dalton at Dallas versus Matt Staffy versus Philly. Advantage here. I'm going to go Jamie. Dallas gets some fresh pass rush back, and they do a good job of controlling the clock, meaning Andy Dalton isn't going to get that many opportunities. So, advantage goes to Jamie with Matt Staffy at Philly. Running backs, Le'Veon Bell is back, looking solid as fuck against the Jets. Struggling fucking defense. Ooh, my voice cracked there. Ooh. Struggling fucking defense. C.J. Anderson at Atlanta. And then you got Matt Jones versus Baltimore for Jamie, and then Jeremy Hill at Dallas for Jamie. Advantage here, I'm going to go to Steven. Le'Veon's looking fresh and fine. Plus, C.J. Anderson's going to go up against a beaten fucking Atlanta defense. Matt Jones did have a good week. I feel like we saw his ceiling last week, even though he's going to get more touches. But they just love throwing the rock around. So yeah, advantage goes to Steven on that. Wide receivers, Hunter Henry at Oakland versus Will Tye at Green Bay. Advantage Steven. Hunter Henry looking like he's becoming relevant for Rivers. And Will Tye, there's just too much going on in New York. Odell, Sterling Shepard, Victor Cruz. There's just too much shit going on. Jamie's going to look to get fucking lucky in the red zone by some play action bullshit for Will Tye. Advantage Steven. This one is actually going to come down to fucking defense, like the actual defense, not your fucking fantasy football fictional defense. Neither have favorable matchups, but I think Winston will shine on Monday night and hurt Carolina's defense, meaning Jamie wins on Monday night and moves to 3-2. Steven goes to 2-3. I know that's kind of weird, but that's the way weird shit happens on fucking Monday nights. On to the next one. Let me make sure this shit's still running, brah. Okay. Louisville versus Ole Miss. So Louisville, both had tough, close losses last week. Still a fucking great game. That's Sean. And then you got Ole Miss, who's Adam. Rough start to the season with a few losses, but we'll get better. We're calling this the Roommate Rumble for the Game of the Week. Game of the Week. Game of the Week. Anyway, quarterbacks, Carolina. Derek Carr, not David Carr. One of the fucking Carr brothers. At San Diego, and then Rodgers against the Giants. Advantage. This is going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with Sean and Carr. Rodgers threw for 77 yards after his bye week last year. And then not to mention that, Oakland just fucking sucks donkey balls. So they're always going to be down and fucking throwing the ball. So advantage Carr there, as much as I love Rodgers. So running backs, you got Sean rolling out Jordan Howard at Indy, who looked good last week. Wide receivers, who the fuck knows? He's got a lot going on. Running backs. You don't know who's going to roll out there. It could be D'Angelo, could be White, could be Richard. I don't know. And then for Adam, he's rolling out McCoy, McKinnon, and DeAndre Washington, who, by the way, DeAndre Washington is the biggest fucking whore in our league. I'm pretty sure like 8 different teams. He's landed on 8 different teams. It's like we pick him up, we drop him. We pick him up, we fucking drop him. What are we doing? The guy's talented, but bullshit committee there in Oakland. So advantage Adam on this one, definitely. McKinnon's looking actually pretty good. Very shifty out of the backfield. They're not using Asiata near as much. McCoy is also doing a lot of the backfield, out of the backfield, running, catching. And then DeAndre is getting more and more love, even though it's a committee. So advantage Adam. Wide receivers, you got Antonio against the Jets. Amari Cooper, Jamie Cooper against San Diego. And then Sean's rolling out. It could be anyone. Bryce Butler, Enua. Could be anyone there. And then Adam's got Dez. Probably not. Doesn't look like he's going to play, but he has him in his lineup. Probably not going to use him. Then we got Demarius at Atlanta, and then Diggs versus Houston. I'm assuming he's on his fucking bench, so I'm assuming he'll take Dez's spot. But advantage Sean here. Antonio has a very big meat flapper. So, and then Cooper's going to get going with Crabtree having a few touchdowns last week. They're just going to spread the ball around. So advantage Sean. Tight ends, Kyle Rudolph against Houston, and then Pitta versus Washington. Advantage Sean. Kyle Rudolph is emerging running that Spider 2Y banana. Great red zone target. That made me nervous as fuck last Monday. Pitta, he's okay. It's okay. We'll just say he's okay. Projected winner. Sean is slacking at running back and flex this week, but will take some good managing to pull out the win. I think he does. The Carr-Cooper combo will do some damage, and Antonio mix that in with a tough Rodgers week. All signs pointing to Sean. In a good matchup, though. 116 to 100. Adam's going to score well, but just not going to be enough. So Adam moves to 0-4, unfortunately for him. Last matchup, we have Texas versus North Carolina. Interesting one. Texas, a lot of pressure to be good. And this guy and Charlie Strong aren't looking to have a seat, or are looking to have a seat at the table next year. Don't know if they're going to fucking have one. And then you got North Carolina. Nobody knows how they're doing it, but they're establishing themselves right now. Some big wins. I think they're 4-1. So Chris is Texas. Could be out of a fucking job next year. And then Ryan is North Carolina. Don't know how they're fucking doing it. They're just fucking doing it. We're going to call this the glass case of emotion match. These two guys, so emotional, like a fucking roller coaster. Anyway, matchups. We got Hoyer going for Chris against Indy, and you got Roethlisberger at the Jets. I'm not even going to finish this fucking sentence because it's going to Ryan. Benny Boy had his game last week, 5 touchdowns. That Jet secondary is just horrible, fucking horrible. Atlanta showed you that last week. Sorry, that was Carolina. Anyway, I'm going off memory here. But Jets fucking secondary horrible. Advantage Ryan with Roethlisberger. Running backs, you got Gurley at Buffalo. And then Bilal Powell at Pittsburgh. Interesting. And then for Ryan, you got Forte, Pittsburgh. Terrence West against Washington. And then Ryan Matthews against Detroit. I think the turning point on this one is going to be if Forte plays or not. I'm going to give the advantage to Chris because I think Gurley's going to have a good fucking week going against Buffalo. So, yeah, Chris for the running backs. Wide receivers, Kelvin Benjamin at Tampa Bay, Emmanuel Sanders at Atlanta. We got Deshaun Jackson versus Baltimore. For Ryan, you got Brandon Marshall at Pitt, Jordan Matthews versus Detroit. Advantage, Chris. Kelvin will be bouncing back, even with Derek Anderson at quarterback. And then Emmanuel Sanders, I think, is going to continue to have a good wave, a good season. He started off slow, obviously picking it up, but Atlanta gives up quite a bit of passing yards. So advantage Chris on that. Tight ends, Zach Miller, Indianapolis versus Greg Olsen, Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with Ryan on this one. Olsen saw some loving from Derek Anderson as well last game when Cam went out because he's a fucking dumbass. Don't know why he just didn't fucking run in the end zone, but that's just me. I like both matchups, so I'm gonna give this one to Ryan. Projected winner. Giving this one to Ryan because Big Ben may break a fucking record of some sort for the past 2-week span. Saying Ryan gets a solid performance from him, and that kind of pushes it through. Ryan wins 99-90. Chris is struggling 0-4. Bye week. I believe it's Tyler. It's Mr. Solid D himself. Yeah, who the fuck knows about that? But that's what we got for week 5 projections, motherfuckers. I appreciate your time. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going to do another video with contenders versus pretenders. I think that's going to be interesting and raise some eyebrows. So, without further ado, I appreciate it. Go fucking Cowboys. And I don't have a fucking song of the week because I'm not a little punk ass bitch, Jamie. You're fucking white. See ya, bruh.